What's up in War Eagle War Report family? You got Ike Jones. We are back with another morning drop today, talking a little bit more about the Music City Bowl and the key matchups versus Maryland. Y'all know how we do right here, War Report style. Let's drop it on them.
You are now listening to the War Report. Drop.
Morning drop, it's your guy Ike Jones. We are back and talking a little more Auburn football. Auburn versus Maryland set to go down this weekend. Trans City or Trans something Music City Bowl. I don't know. I messed that up, but it doesn't matter. It's the Music City Bowl, and y'all know we are going TransUnion. I think it is. Anyway, but yeah, we are going to get into it, talking a little bit more about this game and the key matchups that favor Auburn. How can Auburn get the job done? We talked a little bit about the necessity to have a pass rush versus the new passer. We've talked a little bit about the necessity to get in there and stop the run because you want to force that guy to do that. So if you want to hear those conversations, you can go back and listen to yesterday's morning drop, or you can listen to a little bit of what I talked about with B. Will regarding this game on Sunday. But today, getting more into the specifics of matchups where I feel as if Auburn can take advantage or needs to figure out how to gain an advantage. Before we get too far into the conversation, do the necessary for me. Go ahead and share that video out there on social media. Appreciate those of you who continuously do this. It's always great to see those videos popping up out there on social media with us tagged. Make sure you get the hashtag Get Your Weight Up in there if you got room. Like the video. Go ahead and give us a thumbs up on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Those things would be greatly appreciated. If you're listening out there on podcasts, and go ahead and share that podcast and give us a 5-star review right now while you're hearing me say it. If you're listening, go ahead and do that because you'll forget at the end. You'll move on to whatever else you're doing. Go ahead and share it. It's not going to stop the podcast app if you do that now. All right, let's go ahead and get into the conversation and talk a little bit more about this game. Auburn is 6-6 right now and needs to come on out of here with a bowl victory. It's been a while since the Tigers have won a bowl game. So Coach Hugh Freeze, in his first full year as the Auburn head coach, headed to a bowl game in that first year at 6-6. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The last time that this happened, of course, was under the previous head coach and didn't win that game. Auburn needs to get the dub in this one. Auburn's done well in Music City Bowls. We've documented the history of that on a previous one. Done well against Maryland. Need to continue the winning ways in both this venue and in this situation versus this team. So let's talk a little bit more about Maryland. We talked about some of the things that they have going on offensively and the fact that they are not going to have their starting quarterback yesterday. What we have not gotten into is the Maryland defense. And let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen, and I haven't seen a lot of opt-out information about any of their starters on defense, so I do need to research that, and we'll talk a little bit more about that this evening in the midweek reports. Hopefully you guys will be in here for that. But what I do know is I researched their defense, not really research, but went and looked up statistics on their defense, and they've got a pretty good defense. Let's keep it a buck. Their defense is actually pretty good. Now, they have a lot of let's say leeway on their defense as far as their ability. Like, there haven't been teams, in my opinion, that have been able to push back appropriately consistently. But let's look at the statistics on their defense, the ones that pop out to you. They're number 11 in the country in interceptions. 11 in the country in interceptions that's good. There's no really two ways about that. Now, if you dig deeper into that and when those interceptions come and all that kind of stuff, then you'll be able to, then we can get more into the weeds of that. But 15 picks on the season with a number 11 in the country interception is good. Pass defense, they are number 24 in the country in pass yards allowed. So, listen, that's good. There's no two ways about it. In the country, 24th, they've done a good job. Third down defense, they are ranked number 29 in the country. So 29 in the country in third down defense, able to really do a good job. Their rush defense is ranked number 33 in the country. Now, again, these aren't like eye-popping numbers. They're not like number 2 in the country or anything like that. But listen, Being in the top 50 in the country, considering there are 133 FBS teams, it's not a bad thing, right? So they're nothing to sneeze at defensively. Uh, they're or excuse me, when I said 24th, it was pass efficiency. So they pass efficiency allowed on defense. They're number 24th. They're actually number 40 in the country in pass defense as a total. So a lot of good things happening for them for their defense. Red zone defense, they're down to number 67. Total defense, they're ranked 34th in the country. So again, this is a team that can play good on the defensive side of the football. I think the story has been the quarterback not being there, but I think people need to focus on the fact that Auburn still has to score points against this team as well. So looking at that and knowing that Auburn has had issues scoring the football away from Jordan-Hare Stadium particularly, this is going to be a test for how much this team, we heard from Keontae Scott this Sunday, and he said that this is like a preseason game for this team. They're trying to get some guys incorporated into the defense that have not been there typically. This offense should have everybody available to go out there and play for the most part, right? Again, we talked about Javarius Johnson is not going to be on the field for the Tigers, and he was an integral part of the last couple of games, particularly where Auburn went on their winning streak in those 3 games. And even in the 2 losses at the end of the season, he had some critical catches and touchdowns in those games, specifically the Iron Bowl touchdowns, plural, excuse me. But this Auburn offense has got to figure out a way to put up points, right? Like, it's not just about the fact that they don't have a quarterback. You don't want to leave your defense out to dry, hang your defense out to dry because you're not able to produce points. And that, unfortunately, has been the story all too often for the Auburn football team so far this season. So it's going to be crucial, I think, for Coach Hugh Freeze and company to figure out how to score points. I think that if Auburn can score points in this game, they win this game. Like, easily. I mean, that's probably the most basic statement I think I've ever made. If Auburn can score points, they win. If they can score 25 or more points, I think that they can win this game easily, just because I think that the Auburn defense is, number one, is that good. But number two, their offense is going to need some time to kind of get some things going and figure some things out. So I think an Auburn win has got to come with a lot of points on the board if you're going to be an easy victory. If you're not putting up a bunch of points, scoring defense, they're number 34 in the country, right? So, again, they don't give up a ton of points traditionally on the season. I think where Auburn needs to be able to get these points from, and let's talk about matchups, is going to be on the ground. I think Auburn's going to need to figure out how to get the ground game going. I think Maryland is going to try to come in with a similar strategy to how Maryland attacked the Michigan team when they played against them, a team that has a good run game and a team that that they could pass the ball. And I don't want to disrespect what J.J. McCarthy is able to do as a pass, but he missed some pretty wide open throws that were there for them because Maryland was so concentrated on stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. They had availability downfield. Peyton Thorne needs to be able to hit a couple of those big shots in order to make that defense feel like, okay, we've got to do something to stop this pass. But I think that Auburn really needs to, similarly to how Michigan attacked them, is just say, I get it. You guys are going to load the box up and try to stop this run. We're going to run the ball anyway. We're going to go play big boy football. One thing of note here is that though Maryland ranks number 29 in the country at 2.58 sacks per game, so almost 3 sacks per game, they're number 95 in tackles for loss. So they have done a good job against the run to limit big runs, right? If you look at their total defense, if you look at their scoring defense and all that sort of thing, they've done a good job to limit the big runs, but they have not done a great job at forcing teams into negative plays in the run game. So Auburn needs to figure out how to generate positive 4 or 5 yard runs consistently against this Maryland defense. But that's the problem. Maryland has been pretty much a bend but don't break defense. They have been decent red zone defense, number 67, and equal parts run, pass, and field goal. If you go and look at their red zone defense, what they've allowed on red zone defense. But they've been a team that's just you can creep the ball down the field on them. But the reason why they're good on third down is they're good on first and second down at making teams have to play in third and long scenarios. And then that's when they ratchet up the pass rush. So Auburn needs to be good, in my opinion, on first down. If Auburn can be good on first down and get 4 to 6 yards on that first down play, and then avoid the unfortunate, negative plays after that. But again, Maryland hasn't really been doing great at forcing negative plays in the run game. Be good on first down, particularly running first downs. And I think that you can get into a situation for Auburn where you're getting yourself into third and mediums, second and mediums, and then you can start to methodically move that ball down the field. And then when you get to the red zone, Maryland has been giving up the cookies, right? So let's methodical drives, keep the ball, and because Maryland's going to run tempo and they're going to try to get up and they're going to try to run pace to help their young quarterback out. The advantage for Auburn needs to be in the trenches and moving the ball down the field. Short passing game as well. You can be effective in the short passing game, but I think that Maryland is going to be more susceptible to a rushing attack, in my opinion. Again, I have to go watch a little bit more film on Maryland and see how they play against the run and what they've done. I particularly am going to try to go check out that Michigan game because, again, Michigan is a team that's going to be running the ball proficiently, and they are going to want to – Auburn's going to want to be able to do some of the same things that Michigan was able to do to get the win in that game. Michigan left some points out there on the board, and they had a couple of turnovers in that game. But, again, Maryland's been good at forcing those turnovers this season. So Auburn's got to take care of the football first and foremost. Let me just say that. Take care of the football. Can't be giving up the if you're giving that offense short fields, then it's a recipe for disaster because they're already a team that's going to be a little handicapped with a new starting quarterback in there. Don't give them easy scenarios. Again, all the stuff I'm saying is pretty academic. We will get more into the weeds of this stuff a little bit later today, but I want to hear what you all have to say because I'm sure some of you have done more research on this than I have. Some of you might have more questions than I do, but I want to definitely hear what you all have to say in regards to this topic. So we will do that, get into your comments and questions. But before we do, of course, the Morning Drop is brought to you by Rogue Shop. Make sure you head over to rogueshop.com and use code RAPPORT. Whether it's sleep, stress, anxiety, pain, they've got something for whatever ails you. Make sure you check them out at rogueshop.com and use code RAPPORT. That lets them know the War Report since you get a little something off of your purchase. Let's get over here into the comment section. Again, see what you all are marinating on this morning. I appreciate everybody for dropping in every time we do a Morning Drop. So great to see the fam in here. Charles Allen gets us kicked off and says, Ike, do you have any film on Maryland? Charles, I am so glad you asked because I am pulling that together today. I've got one game, but I want to try to get a 3-game sample set, both offense and defense. So if you are a member, be on the lookout. Thursday and Friday are the days that I've designated that I'm going to try to do some Maryland film review. So members, turn your notifications on so we can get into this film tomorrow and Friday. I got y'all. Let's see. Burke D. Clemente, I think that's how you pronounce that. If I pronounced that wrong, then I apologize. War Damn Eagle can't wait for the game. Definitely looking forward to it as well. Hopefully I will get an opportunity. I always run into somebody when we're on the road. Somehow, just walking up to the stadium, I tend to run into people walking into the game. So if you're going to be out there, be on the lookout. I'll be walking around toting some heavy bag with a laptop and stuff in it. So make sure you say what's up. I don't mind if you speak when we out. Pictures, all that, I'm down for it. If y'all want to do that, if you want to be like, oh, there's that idiot Ike that's always talking crazy stuff and just keep moving, that's cool too. It don't matter to me. But I appreciate running into y'all and saying what's up when I get the opportunity to. FKE Chic, I think someone asked Ike, is Bryce Kane playing? You could ask me. You just did. Right here in the comment section. None of the freshmen are eligible to play in this game. Some of them were there in bowl practice, but that was just for them to be able to get in and get some early practice situations going. But you have to actually be enrolled in school in order to play in a collegiate football game, and none of those guys have done that. Plus, they haven't even graduated from high school, so no, they will not be eligible to play in the bowl game. TK says, get a W, establish winning in bowl games, something Gus always let get by him. The unfortunate reality is Gus Malzahn was not great in bowl games. Like, let's just be clear. He wasn't. He has a losing bowl record as a coach career wise. He definitely did as the Auburn football coach. So, yeah, bowl season was not kind to Auburn under Coach Malzahn. He had some really great regular seasons, and he had some really great successes on his way to bowls, but didn't do great in bowl games, and we need to turn it. However, the Music City Bowl, Gus, we need a Gus-like performance in the Music City Bowl. I will take that any day of the week. Let's see here. A lot of people were answering about incoming players not being able to play. So definitely, y'all got that together. I didn't even need me. Justin Thomas says, according to Peyton Thorne, fans should be impossible to score. According to Peyton Thorne, fans should be impossible to score in this game with no wide receivers. Oh, so basically the conversation there is about people who are saying we don't have wide receivers, so we should not be able to score in this game. And that is the Peyton Thorne fans that are saying that. Got you. I mean, listen, I understand that people, we will definitely delve into the wide receiver position. Next week, I've done some extensive deep dives, and we're going to get into the film and all of that. So again, if you're not a member and you don't get a chance to see this film review stuff, you're going to miss a lot of this, of what we're talking about. But we will talk about the wide receiver position specifically next week, because people feel like we spend too much time talking about the quarterback, though everybody talks about the quarterback. But when we talk about him, then we're piling on for some reason. It's just how it goes. Even if we say positive things, doesn't matter. Just because we mention the quarterback, then it's the war report trying to do something negative about the quarterback position. But anyway, we will talk a lot about the wide receiver position and the ways in which they were not doing what they needed to do versus teams in this offense this year. We talked a little bit about it when we watched the All-22 film for the Georgia game. So if you are a patron, that is patron-only content right now on demand. If you are a patron, you can go back and watch that film review, and you can see some of the things that we talked about for wide receiver play in that game. But we will get more into more of that stuff as the offseason goes along, but that will begin next week. So members, make sure that you are ready for that. To this in particular, I think that, the wide receivers that we have playing in this game are going to be able to contribute. I think that Jay Fair should have a good game. Auburn's going to try to get him the football. They need to show, speaking of Bryce Cain, they need to show guys like Bryce Cain what kind of things are available to him in this offense. They need to showcase one Jay Fair in this game, I think, in order to be able to do that. I do think that Coach Hugh Freeze wants to finally put some sort of showcase on the field of what the passing offense can look like for Auburn in this game. So I expect more opportunities for wide receivers to go out there and handle business in this one. Let's see. Reeves Uppercut says, I hope the guys take this game seriously. Iron Bowl still stings. A bowl dub would be a nice way to wrap up the 23 season. Also, let's go Michigan. I can get with everything up until that also, because I don't care nothing about Michigan or who they're playing, none of that. I ain't rooting for nobody. I don't care about no other games except if there is another game happening in this postseason. For those uninitiated about your boy Ike Jones, I am not a college football fan. I am an Auburn football fan. I will watch other games, but I ain't cheering for nobody unless they are wearing orange and blue and they have an AU on their helmet. The rest of y'all, let the cards fall wherever they may. Odds forever be in your favor. Good luck to you. Don't care. I have no rooting interest in none of these other teams. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care who they're playing against. I don't care nothing about none of that stuff. Don't care. Could care less. It's just a game on TV. Oh, look, this thing happened. That's as interested as I am in any of these other games. But good luck to whoever. But anyway, to this, yes, I hope these young men are taking it seriously. It seems as if they are. I think when you think about some of the guys who have made the transition over, speaking of, again, Keontae Scott, a guy, this is his first bowl game. Like, it doesn't feel like a big deal to some folks because, it's just the Music City Bowl. But some of these young men are out there trying to put more tape out there if this is going to be their last game. And I am going to have to murder my dog right now because he just knocked down a whole bunch of stuff in the background, being silly. But Yeah, it's gonna be a. He's some of these guys need more tape to put out there. They need to be able to show scouts things that they have. I think there are a lot of young men. It's their first bowl game. They are going to be looking to take this very seriously. So I am looking forward to seeing some guys step up and play big in this game. Philip Hall says, I think we have a Maryland player we got from them last year should help. That is correct. It is Lawrence Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Nasili Kite actually played for Maryland. So that is the guy that we have on the team from Maryland. He's not playing, but he'll be available, and maybe he can give him some tips and stuff like that. So we'll see. I was just kidding about killing my dog, by the way. I'm just going to put him outside. This is why he normally is not allowed in the room during stuff, because he be trying to get my attention too bad. Before anybody like go crazy and be like, oh, Ike said he was gonna kill a dog. Just y'all be taking everything too far. Let's see here. All right, that's it, man. I'm gonna get out of here. But definitely appreciate you guys for hopping in with me. It's always great to have you guys in here this morning. But before I get out of here, of course, make sure that you guys are hitting up the show sponsor, Rogue Shop. Use code RAPPORT when you do that. That'll get you a little something off your purchase. Before you get out of here, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with somebody else. If you're listening out there on podcast, appreciate y'all so much. We'll be back at you guys with the midweek report later on, talking a little bit more Maryland, a little bit more of basketball, a little bit more everything, man. Appreciate y'all again, and until the next time, and as always, War Eagle.